Hey, I'm Natalie Potts, and this is the Natalie Potts podcast. If you want to talk about your business, your life, your health, and more, then you are in the right place. We do it all with humour, love, and inspiration to help you create a life that you love. So let's dive in. Today, I'm going to be talking about life being hard and how you build a better you. So, really recently, I've been thinking about this idea of resistance and what are we not facing into? Where are we feeling discomfort or that we're suffering? And how is this holding us back? So, there is a reality that when you are living life in your comfort zone, then we can be suffering. But also, when you're in your stretch zone, we can also be suffering. So, every time I share something today and it says, from my perspective about something I'm going through, I want you to change it and reframe it and think about, what does that mean to me? How can I use that in my life right now to help me move forward towards my business, the life, the goals that I want to achieve? Especially we're coming to the end of 2022. What does 2023 look like for you? How are you really going to face into the challenges and the inner growth? And it's that word, inner growth, that when we really tap into and explore what resistance is and what we are not wanting to comply with or what we're not wanting to accept, then we can think about what that looks like and understand it. There's a great phrase out there that self-development comes from self-awareness. Okay, there is no self-development without self-awareness. And when I work with clients, I often find that people don't really want to tap into this because it's hard. It's hard to ask ourselves these questions. It's hard to challenge ourselves on why we aren't where we want to be or why we're not achieving what we want to achieve. And what I want you to do today is invite these questions into your world and think about, what does it mean to you? Recently, I watched The Secret. And this was something I saw for the first time back in 2015 before I decided to embark on a journey to become a qualified coach. And I love the idea around attracting what you are and who you are. And this is really true, that environment and the people around us plays a huge part in our success. And it's underestimated how powerful this is. And I want you to think about everything here that it's surface level. When we talk about resistance, I was exploring it last week with my coach, and I was saying that I'm resisting managing my time really well and effectively. I'm resisting to commit to things time-wise. And I got challenged on that bullshit narrative. Where does that belief come from? And the reality was, what I wasn't facing into is the deep under the surface stuff, the real root of what I'm resisting. And I don't actually like the word fear. I really struggle with it. And language is really powerful. And it had me thinking about this idea of what is resistance, what is it we're suffering, and the things that can make us feel that. And it's things like self-doubt, it's procrastination, it's the negative self-talk that we have. I always say to people, look, have you got mind chatter? And they're like, have I got mind chatter? Have I got mind chatter? It's like, that's the mind chatter kicking in. We all have it all the time. It doesn't matter if you're a student, if you're a cleaner, if you're a CEO, it doesn't matter who you are. We all have these fears and doubts, okay? No matter what level you get to in any part of your life, your career, you're always going to have self-doubts. So the reality is that nothing really truly comes that's amazing without work, whether that's personal or professional work. And this is about you committing to this. We can look at people like David Goggins and Michael Jordan and think, they've got it, right? They face into their fears. They don't really resist much. They just seem to go into it all in and get results. But the reality is that they break things down. And they really do this in a great work, and they do some key things that I'm going to share with you that you can be doing right now too to help you move forward. Our job is to step out of our comfort zone, because if we stay there, we're actually missing opportunities, and there's a potential that we can even grow things. When I decided to go all in my business and leave my 19-year corporate career, I decided that the risk was not taking a risk. The risk was getting to the end of my life and saying that I didn't live a life of true meaning to myself. And strangely, this is what a lot of people say. There's an amazing study done by an Australian nurse who worked with people in palliative care at the end of their life. And she asked them what were their biggest regrets. And the biggest regret was that people did not live a life of true meaning to them. I don't want that for you. I certainly don't want it for myself. So I want you to be feeling the same things, that that's not okay to be in that place. The first thing I want you to really think about is this discipline of perception, how we choose to see things. And when you see things in a different way, or you change to look at things differently, the things that you look at change. It's an amazing quote by Wayne Dyer. I've slightly unpacked it there though. But we all get the opportunity to see things how we want to. So we can choose to see things in a positive light, or we can choose to see things negatively. We make a choice on that. So I want you to also work with this idea that the obstacle that you're facing right now, the resistance that you're facing right now, is the way. This is the pathway to greater things in your life. And when we are in a place where things are familiar, then we feel comfortable. But comfortable doesn't bring growth, and it doesn't challenge us. So building on from an idea of then perception and the way we see things, and exactly that we can see resistance as a great thing, and we can see the obstacle as a great thing for us and the opportunities that we have in life. I want you to think about an idea of taking action on that. Procrastination. So my mentor recently shared with me that procrastination is, I'll do it later. And it's the enemy of success. We've really got to be thinking about what, again, is under the surface of why we're procrastinating. It isn't because we're busy. We can really choose to see our time and how we prioritize. So action is about building momentum. It's about really focusing on the things that life is never going to be ideal. You need to be persistent and you need to be logical. Think of James Dyson. It took him 5,127 prototypes and 5 years of tests before he invented the world's first bagless vacuum cleaner. 5,127 prototypes. This man did not give up. An inspiration, an innovator in his own right. He kept that momentum going. He was logical. He was persistent. He broke things down. He looked at the small changes that needed to happen. And this is a great thing to take note of here, is how often do you change things up? I was realizing recently I was resisting a change in direction in my business. I didn't like the idea of thinking about us pivoting, but I know that where I was in April isn't where I am now. I also know that where I am now isn't where I'm going to be in January. And this is true for you too. Where you are right now is not where you're going to be in January. Where you are in January is not going to be where you are this time next year. So think about what you really want. This is really important for you to have a strong vision and have strong goals. This is why we need to do this groundwork, to know what we're working towards. Too many people are drawn out of pain. They're not drawn towards something. Make it so strong, that vision, that every single morning you get up and you know your why you do what you do. This is what helps to keep you on track when you get off track. I don't really indulge in when people say that this will help you get back on track and stay on track. Like, we're human. We're going to get off track. But there are strategies, techniques, tactics we can use that help keep us on track. We can, again, be highly self-aware to know what we need to be at our best and perform at our best. There's a difference in that. There's a difference in accepting that we're going to mess up. We're going to fail at stuff. Failure will lead us to success. No success comes without failure, okay? So I then want you to build on thinking of breaking it down. So we've talked there about discipline. We've talked about taking action. And I want you to really think about how you stay consistent with that. People really struggle with consistency. And it's thinking of an area, again, where you're thinking about, what am I resisting? What is the action I need to take? And breaking it down, making those small steps, the compound effect. Think of this idea that brushing your teeth, if you didn't brush your teeth once, it's not the end of the world. If you consisted to do that every single day, one, it would cost you because you'd have more trips to the dentist, and two, you'd be in immense pain, okay? You're going to be in a different pain in your business. If you don't stay consistent with things, you're not going to get results that you want. You know half the time what you need to do. You just need consistency as well to keep doing it. So really think about, what is consistency looking like? What does consistency look like off of resistance? How will you know when you're there? And think about all of this as learnings. We need to embrace that we're not perfect. We're never going to be perfect. We're not broken. We're not people that need, we're not needing fixing. We're human beings. So I want you to have the courage to embrace the fear, embrace the resistance, embrace the fact you're going to fail, embrace success and the potential of the fear of success. Last year, I was in a position where I'd worked to what I would have had like real big goals when I was younger in my career, my corporate career. And when I got there, I was the unhappiest I've ever been. I was leading a great team. Yeah, I loved leading people. I was very good at it and I enjoyed it. That's where I was at my best, was with people. I hated the fact that the business I was working with didn't really align to my values anymore. And that wasn't just necessarily about them. That was my growth as well and how I'd outgrown the business. And I'd probably outgrown my role. I'd started to see things differently and things just weren't on track. I'd lost a self of identity within the business. I didn't really know what I stood for. And I just knew that I wasn't doing what I loved. And again, that wasn't necessarily on a business. That was the narrative I had in my mind and the beliefs I had. And that's the work I needed to do to change that. And I knew that I loved coaching. Can we have a passion and a purpose? Do we get too hung up on that? I don't know. There's probably another podcast. But I certainly know that my purpose in life is to serve people through coaching and mentoring. And I love it. And I do well at it. And I want you to know that there is something out there, that niggling feeling that you have, that is for you, that you can do this. And I want to inspire you and motivate and educate you into getting those results. So every day, do something to take action, to move forward, the smallest thing you can do. Maybe it's an obstacle. Remember that inside every obstacle and moment of resistance is the path to an opportunity to become a better person. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and it inspired you. I really want to hear your feedback and your questions. So connect with me on Instagram at Natalie Coaching. And I'm here to help you be effective at everything that you do. Until next time, stay focused on your big dreams because the world needs that gift that only you have.